Have you seen The Lion King? It's no coincidence that the protagonist's home is called Pride Rock. After all, a group of lions is called a pride. Collective nouns, or nouns of veneration as they used to be called, are more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Incidentally, a group of monkeys is actually called a barrel, although tribe works just as well. The tradition of assigning words to groups of animals originated from the late Middle Ages, where it started as part of English hunting tradition. In order for hunters to communicate effectively, they needed to distinguish between the same features in different animals, and so they created a variety of different names. Over the course of the 14th century, it became fashionable amongst the gentry to extend this vocabulary, and by the 15th century, this fashion had reached somewhat ridiculous levels. A descent of woodpeckers, a hover of trout, an ostentation of peacocks. Peacocks' tail feathers don't actually contain all of the pigments for the colours that they produce. Instead, a large number of the colours are produced by a scientific phenomenon known as optical interference Bragg reflections. Whilst I won't get into the specific details of this right now, it does have several implications for the creatures. Primarily, it means that a peacock is able to vary the coloration of their tail plumage by spacing them out at different intervals. It also means, much like a car with pearlescent paint, that a peacock's tail will change colours depending on the angle of view. A peacock's tail will also indicate how successful they will be in attracting a peahen mate. There is a direct correspondence between the number of eye spots on a male's tail and their overall mating success, to the point where if one were to prune eye spots off a male's tail, they would be less attractive to females. An unkindness of ravens, a bouquet of pheasants, a scourge of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes have been referred to by some scientists as the most dangerous creatures on the planet, due both to the potentially lethal diseases that they carry and the sheer mass upon which they exist. Most people now know that both male and female mosquitoes feed on the nectar and juices of plants, and that there are only a handful of species of mosquito in which the female, never the male, is equipped to pierce the skin of animal hosts. Ectoparasites, they're called. Many humans claim that mosquitoes love them, while others claim that they have no problem with the insects, and for good reason. Mosquitoes hunt by detecting natural substances in their victims, including carbon dioxide and 1-octan-3-ol. This means that they will prefer victims with O blood, heavy breathers, those with a high body temperature, and the pregnant. If you're a sweaty person, beware. Mosquitoes can use that to tell how much CO2 you produce. A pandemonium of parrots, an army of frogs, a busyness of ferrets. Ferrets are not rodents. They're a part of the family Mustelidae, a group of carnivorous mammals, including otters, badgers, weasels, and so forth. The ferret is actually the domesticated form of the European polecat, and without humans, the creatures would have a very low rate of survival. It is an unfortunate side effect of domestication, and the process used for this, that ferrets suffer from several distinct health problems. They're prone to cancers, viral diseases including the flu, and hairballs. Most distressing, however, is the need for unspayed females to produce a litter during their breeding cycle, as, most often, once a female ferret has entered heat, it cannot leave until this has occurred, and if left in this state, the excessive buildup of estrogen is fatal. The word ferret comes from the Latin ferretus, meaning little thief, as they like to take and hide small items. The ancient Romans likely used the animal for hunting, as many do today. A clouder of cats, a pounce of kittens, a club of seals. That's not an output error, it's the actual term. A flutter of butterflies. Butterflies in Japan were seen as the personification of the human soul. regardless of whether the human was alive or dead. It may be more accurate to refer to them as the emissary of the soul, as if a butterfly entered your guest room and landed behind the bamboo screen, it was believed that the one you loved the most was to visit you. We also owe a number of technologies to butterflies, as current LEDs are based on the reflection and scattering of light by the wing scales of swallowtail butterflies, and their structural colorization is being investigated to inspire the development of new display technologies. When in flight, a group of swans is called a wedge. When they're on the ground, they're known as a bank. Those who are particularly keen on swans, however, call swans by an entirely different name when they are in groups. Swan fanciers, as this is the term for one who is rather fond of the animal, use the word lamentation as the collective noun. And you too should lament, for this report is now at its end. Hey everybody, thank you for making it to the end of another one of my videos. I personally could not be happier with how that went, and I'm pretty sure that you agree. If I'm right, you should click the like button, which is just down here, and you should also click the share button. It can be found down there too, and there's one up here somewhere maybe? Anyway, if you would like to watch last week's video on a topic completely different to this one, you should click in the area that is over here. If you want to subscribe to my channel and be notified whenever I post anything, you should click over here. Anyway guys, I will see you next week.